Hi, my name is Bethany, and today I wanted to go over the Samantha Craft Unofficial Asperger's in Females checklist. So I ran across this actually in my kind of journey of searching out my theory on possibly having Asperger's or high-functioning autism, and I thought I'd go over it with you. I'm going to try to do this quickly because it is a pretty long list. So if you are a female suspecting that you are, you know, maybe on the spectrum or have Asperger's or whatnot, or you have it and you want to relate, or you're just some random person who wants to know what people feel, here's this. Okay, so we have section A, deep thinkers. A deep thinker, I consider myself one. A prolific writer drawn to poetry. Okay, maybe not that far. I'm pretty good at writing. I'm actually really not that much into poetry. Highly intelligent. According to tests, yes. Sees things at multiple levels, including her own thinking process. I feel like that needs to be clarified, but possibly. Analyzes existence, the meaning of life, and everything continually. Yeah, pretty much. Serious and matter-of-fact in nature. I don't think I'm like super bad at that, but I do take myself really seriously a lot of the times, and if I think something is serious, I am very matter-of-fact about it. So I'm not exactly the most easygoing person in the world, but I know that there are people who are a lot more serious and matter-of-fact than I am. Also completely random side note, I just wanted to add in here, I was just trying a different aesthetic today, so if you enjoy me stealing my husband's lovely sweater thing here, and I think this is also his beanie too. So anyway, I just wanted to try it out, so there's that. Doesn't take things for granted. I don't know about that one for me. Doesn't simplify. I do have trouble with that. Everything is complex. Again, very hard for me to like get things down to where it makes sense for other people because it's just too much. Often gets lost in own thoughts and checks out with a blank stare. Absolutely. Section B, innocent. So number 1 says naive. You know, honestly, no one wants to admit that they're naive. No one wants to think that they're naive, and I've always thought of myself as very smart and aware, and as I've been really looking at my life, yeah, I am a bit naive. 2, honest. Hello, I just admitted to you that I'm naive. Like, and there's a lot of things like, oh man, for example, I went to visit my father, and he has friends that go to my church, and so they said, oh, did you tell him that we said hi? And you know, honestly, I don't remember saying specifically that they said hi, so I said, I don't think so, I don't remember doing that. And it just kind of caused this awkward situation because you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, and he's, you know, he said hi or whatever, just like little things that really people would just appreciate for you to just kind of move on, but like it's hard for me because I want to tell the truth. So like even with like, I don't like making estimations, especially with like numbers and stuff, because I don't want to give you misinformation. So I have a problem with that. So yeah, honesty is kind of one of those things. Experiences trouble with lying, just kind of said that. Finds it difficult to understand manipulation and disloyalty. Yes, when it's happening, like to me, it's really difficult. When I see, like when I've recognized it in that individual and the tactics that they're using, and they use it for, you know, other people, I can see it. But I find it difficult to accept that people do that. I find it difficult to really think like that person actually means that. I can see it if it's detached from me, but if it's like someone in person, it's hard for me to understand that. Finds it difficult to understand vindictive behavior and retaliation. Yeah, I don't understand why people do a lot of things that they do, and anyways, so yes. Easily fooled and conned. Again, no one wants to say that that's the case, but sometimes I think it's on a personal level. If it's like a person-to-person thing, I believe that people are honest, and I think that's what would lead to being easily fooled and conned. But I think in a general sense, if it's anything that's like detached from me, I can see it from a mile away. But if it's like right in my face with someone I believe, well, really any person, because I just believe people. I believe that people, you know, are gonna do the right thing, because why would they lie? But people lie and con people for no reason. So yeah, I guess so, a little bit sometimes. Number 7, feelings of confusion and being overwhelmed. Yeah, let's just say yeah on that one. Number 8, feelings of being misplaced and or from another planet. Misplaced, yes. I've never really felt like I was from another planet, but I also like might be taking that literally, so. Number 9, feelings of isolation, 100%. Number 10, abused or taken advantage of as a child but didn't think to tell anyone, thankfully no. Section C, escape and friendship. Number 1, survives overwhelming emotions and senses by escaping in thought or action, yupper doodle. Number 2, escapes regularly through fixations, obsessions, and over-interest in subjects. Okay, so this is one of those things that I used to do a lot. I used to be more obsessive with things, or at least openly obsessive with things, but I got really shamed for it, especially, you know, the very stereotypical anime thing. I used to be very interested in anime, and specific anime, like I knew everything about it. I knew like what episode, what scene was from, and this is like over 500 episode series, and I still have a bit of an affinity toward a particular series, but a lot of people were like, oh, you know, you shouldn't be watching that, you shouldn't be doing this, and part of it came from all anime is bad and all this stuff, and there are many things in anime which I do not think are good. Like, I wouldn't suggest anime as a genre to a lot of people because there are a lot of tropes in there that are not appropriate and are just really weird. But so anything that I kind of seemed fixated on or anything like that, people seem to shame that. So now I try to cut myself off from feeling that way. But that's just kind of how I am now. Number 3, escapes routinely through imagination, fantasy, and daydreaming. Yeah, usually, especially if I'm like by myself. I try not to do that too much in like around other people. Number 4, escapes through mental processing. That's probably when I'm around other people. Escapes through rhythm of words. I like the rhythm of words, yes. Philosophizes continually. I don't know if maybe, I don't know. Had imaginary friends in youth? No. I did have online friends, which a lot of people thought were imaginary, but they weren't, so. Number 8, imitates people on television or in movies. Yeah, kind of sometimes. If I see something long enough, I'm gonna start imitating it a little bit. I'm not like super bad. I know some people are like constantly doing that. I'm not constantly doing that, but I do it a little bit. Treated friends as pawns in youth. Example, friends were students, consumers, members. That was not something I can relate to. And number 10, friends with older or younger females more so than friends her age, often in young adulthood. Well, I'm in young adulthood right now, and I can tell you absolutely. Especially as I was growing up, I was friends with my sister's friends, and my sister is 6 years older than me, or 5.5 years older than me. And even now, most of my friends are Justin's age, and Justin is 6 years older than me. People who I would more consider close friends are actually even older than that. And then I have some friends who are younger. I have like 1 or 2 maybe that are my age. Imitates friends or peers in style, dress, attitude, interest, and manner, sometimes speech. I don't know that this one is necessarily right, mostly because I don't bother to care that much. Is that bad? But mannerisms and speech is a thing. I notice I'll start picking up odd things from people I talk to a lot and start doing them too, and it's kind of annoying, even in like the way they speak or something. I noticed I started acting like a certain friend of mine and I couldn't stop. I feel like everyone does that to an extent though. Obsessively collects and organizes objects. Surprisingly, I have not really had that in my life that much. Except for when I was a kid, I would like always get the little seashells out of the playground like rock things, and then I would color them. Like I would try to stay behind in class and color them with marker. And I did collect stickers, but those were when I was younger. I don't really do that much now. A mastered imitation. I think so. I hope so, because all y'all people, they seem to think I'm pretty normal, I think, hopefully. Escapes by playing the same music over and over. Yes! When I cannot handle things, I will play the same song over and over and over. But again, this is, I think, does apply to other people too. Number 15, escapes through relationship, imagined or real. I don't think so. I'm not aware of it, at least, if that is the case. Number 16, numbers bring ease. Could be numbers associated with patterns, calculations, lists, time, and or personification. Don't relate to that one either. Escapes through counting, categorizing, organizing, and rearranging. Not really, actually. I do like to count things, but usually I like to count them in another language, like Japanese, and that is usually pretty temporary. Number 18, escapes into other rooms at parties. Absolutely. Who are you kidding? I remember specifically one time one of my friends had a sleepover with a bunch of girls that I didn't really know, and they were just being weird and stuff. So I just like went in her room and sat there for like 20 minutes until she came to find me, and she was like, what are you doing? Number 19, cannot relax or rest without many thoughts. You know, that might be true. It's not something that I've really paid a lot of attention to though. Number 20, everything has a purpose. To some extent, yeah. But there's so many things. So maybe. We'll just go with maybe on that and move on. Section D, comorbid attributes. Number 1, OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. I have not been diagnosed with that. Number 2, sensory issues, sight, sound, texture, smells, taste. Might have synesthesia. I don't have synesthesia, but I definitely do have sensory issues. Generalized anxiety, yes. Sense of pending danger or doom. I think that has to do with anxiety, but I don't feel that particular sensation a lot. Number 5, feelings of polar extremes. Depressed and overjoyed, inconsiderate or oversensitive. Yes. Yeah. Number 6, poor muscle tone, double jointed and or lacking coordination. No, I don't have poor muscle tone. No, I'm not double jointed, but I do have a lack in coordination. Don't know if those all have to be grouped together or not. Number 7, eating disorders, food obsessions, and or worry about what is eaten. Not really, unless if you count me just being an overeater. Number 8, irritable bowel and or intestinal issues. Let's not discuss that. Number 9, chronic fatigue and or immune challenges. I don't really experience that. Number 10, misdiagnosed or diagnosed with a mental illness. Again, no one really noticed anything for me. No one really cared. So no, I was not misdiagnosed with anything. Number 11, experiences multiple physical symptoms, perhaps labeled a hypochondriac. Not really. Number 12, questions place in the world. Almost every day. Number 13, often drops small objects. Yes, more often I see that when I'm stressed, but I feel like maybe that's also a thing that a lot of people experience. Sorry guys if I moved, I just had to move the camera down. I noticed that I was like hanging out down here. Number 14, wonders who she is and what is expected of her. Yes. Number 15, searches for right and wrong. Abso-stinkin-lutely all the time. Number 16, since puberty has had bouts of depression and may have PMDD. I'm not familiar what PMDD is, but yes, with the since puberty has had bouts of depression. Number 17, flicks, rubs fingernails. If you watch my channel, you know I do that. Picks scalp, skin, I do that. Flaps hands, does that sometimes. Rubs hands together, yep. Tucks hand under or between legs. I didn't know that this was a thing. Okay, I've done this like all the time, like forever. And one time someone was sitting next to me and all of a sudden they're like, oh, thanks for that. That's really smart. And I was like, what? And they're like, well, it's a lot warmer than putting my hands underneath my armpits. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I really looked down and realized I had my hands, you know, between my legs and under my legs. And I thought everyone did this, but apparently not. I don't know. Keeps closed fists sometimes. Paces in circles and or clears throat often, yes. And I have a really weird sound that I make. But to be fair, it is, I am pretty sure, just really linked to having allergies. And I like make a weird sound and I'm itching my throat and everyone's like, ew, what are you doing? Whatever. Section E, social interaction. Number 1, friends have ended friendships suddenly without the female with AS understanding why and or difficulty making friends. Yes. I get confused about why we're not, like there was one time, this is gonna sound super dumb, but there's one time I hadn't been talking much with a friend of mine and then all of a sudden somehow I realized they had unfriended me and or blocked me. I don't know. I think they just unfriended me on Facebook. Which, I mean, okay, but at the same time, there was like no warning. There was no warning in my world that they suddenly weren't my friend, and I didn't understand why, and it flipped me out for the longest time, because I didn't understand how we had gone from being friends to not being friends, and I don't understand that. And I also don't understand there's a lot of people that I considered really close to me, and then I find out that, you know, I've gone from like best friend to friend, kind of, or from friend to kind of talk to you, associate with you every grand once in a while, and that really is mystifying to me for some reason. I really should figure that out more. Number 2, tendency to overshare. Yeah. Number 3, spills intimate details to strangers. Okay, so yes, I actually do this, and hello, I'm on YouTube and I am telling you a lot of things that I probably shouldn't or wouldn't. A lot of things I wouldn't necessarily say to people that are close to me, and part of me thinks it's because like they can't impact my life. So like it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, I do experience the whole, you know, spilling intimate details to strangers. Number 4, raised hand too much in class or didn't participate in class. Okay, well I didn't think there was a thing as raising your hand too much. I thought you were supposed to raise your hand every time you knew the answer. What's wrong with that? Number 5, little impulse control with speaking when younger. Girl, I think so. I'm pretty sure, because I remember getting a lot of glares for like talking over people and all that stuff. Number 6, monopolizes conversation at times. Yes, if I'm really interested, which is so frustrating because when I'm actually really interested in a conversation, I'm probably going to try to do that. And so I have to really hold back. So a lot of times in conversations, I have to try to become disinterested just so that I don't run everyone over with what I want to say. Number 7, brings subject back to self. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that. Number 8, comes across at times as narcissistic and controlling, but is not narcissistic. I don't know, so someone can tell me if I come across that way or not. Number 9, shares in order to reach out. Yup. Number 10, often sounds eager and overzealous or apathetic and disinterested. Yup. Like, for real. Number 11, holds a lot of thoughts, ideas, and feelings inside. Yes, I find that a lot of people do not value them, or I'm not done formulating them to share them. Number 12, feels as if she is attempting to communicate correctly. Yes. Number 13, obsesses about the potentiality of a relationship with someone, particularly a love interest or feasible new friendship. Oh my goodness. If you could ask my husband, I heard someone pick on someone for saying, you can ask so-and-so, and they really can't. But if you could ask my husband, you would know that I literally jumped around this house because I thought I was making a new friend because they were a Christian YouTuber, and we just seemed to really click, and she just seemed really cool, and she was actually wanting to talk to me, so I was like, oh my gosh, I have a new friend. Like, I have a friend. Like, I have a friend. And I was just like super excited about it. And when Justin and I started dating, the first time we held hands, I was physically shaking. Like shaking, and I remember him being like, I mean, that's kind of weird, but okay, I think you're a little too like excited about this, and I'm just like, but you're holding my hand. So yeah, yes. Number 14, confused by the rules of accurate eye contact, tone of voice, proximity of body stance, and posture in conversation. Yes. Tone of voice, I think we experienced this together as a community. If you watched my video on how an autism diagnosis helped me, a viewer, Yaik Bin here, even said, you know, my heart felt yanked at the end because, you know, you were giving this emotional thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, thanks for watching, guys, blah, 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 because I thought, you know, I'm getting too emotional and I have to bring up the tone, and it just kind of ended up inappropriate. So that kind of stuff happens in real life to me too. Number 15, conversations are often exhausting. Absolutely. Even when I'm really excited about them, I get really tired and I need a break. Number 16, questions the actions and behavior of self and others continually. Yes. Number 17, it feels as if missing a conversation gene or thought filter. Sometimes yes. I didn't really think of a conversation gene, but just something here isn't matching, I guess. Number 18, trained self in social interactions through reading and studying of other people. I haven't really consciously thought of a lot of these things until I sat back and thought about it. But yeah, I do watch people and kind of try to grab what they're doing, or I see someone and I'm like, oh, so that's what we're supposed to do. Like, and that kind of thing happens to me a lot, but I didn't like sit back and be like, let me take notes of how you're doing that. Some people are like that. I'm not. Number 19, visualizes and practices how she will act around others. Absolutely. And in fact, doing that helps me be able to like keep myself together. If you watched my vlog on going to a Christmas parade block party, I shared a little clip of me talking to the crowd, and the mannerisms, the voice, the words, except for I had to ad-lib because no one responded, and so I was like, I have to say something. But all of that stuff I practiced over and over because I know that if I haven't visualized it and I haven't practiced it, it's not gonna go well. Number 20, practices, rehearses in mind what she will say to another before entering the room. Yes, especially if I'm intimidated by that person. 21, difficulty filtering out background noise when talking to others. Yes, this is so bad, especially when they're telling me important information, because I just can't. And so sometimes it's okay, and other times it's like, it almost feels like the background gets louder and more important the more they're telling me things. Number 22, has a continuous dialogue in mind that tells her what to say and how to act when in a social situation. Not necessarily. Like, sometimes I think, ooh, Stephanie, you shouldn't do that. Ooh, Stephanie, watch yourself. Oh, Stephanie, stop doing that. They don't know what you're doing. Or like, oh, you should probably sit up because you're slouching and they're not. So there are that, but it's not super continuous. I do have continuous dialogue in my mind about other things though. Number 23, a sense of humor sometimes seems quirky, odd, inappropriate, or different from others. Probably. Number 24, as a child, it was hard to know when it was her turn to talk. Yes, and sometimes it still is, and it kind of ends up in like awkward silences and gaps, and it's kind of awkward, but whatever. Number 25, it finds norms of conversation confusing. Yes, again. Number 26, finds unwritten and unspoken rules difficult to grasp, remember, and apply. Yes, and that's why a lot of the times I try to make it a rule in my head so that I know and I have to verbalize it, and a lot of times I'll ask people, I'm like, okay, so we're supposed to actually do this like in a conversation, right? And they're like, yes. Like, it's weird to them that I have to ask that out loud, but sometimes I have to just so I can hear it and try to apply it. It doesn't always work, but I try to. Section F, finds a refuge when alone. Yes, I do, my dear. For real though. Number 1, feels extreme relief when she doesn't have to go anywhere, talk to anyone, answer calls, or leave the house, but at the same time will often harbor guilt for hibernating and not doing what everyone else is doing. Yes, but the guilt level is pretty low for me because I enjoy not being anywhere, except for then I start feeling really isolated. Number 2, one visitor at the home may be perceived as a threat. This can even be a familiar family member. Sometimes. Number 3, knowing logically a house visitor is not a threat does not relieve the anxiety. Yeah. Again, this is more sometimes for me than it is like all the time. Number 4, feelings of dread about upcoming events and appointments on the calendar. Yes. The Christmas parade block party was one of those. Number 5, knowing she has to leave the house causes anxiety from the moment she wakes up. Yes. Things I've been doing have helped with that, but yes. Number 6, all of the steps involved in leaving the house are overwhelming and exhausting to think about. Yes, they are. And see, this is the stuff that I didn't understand why I wasn't like everyone else. Like, they could just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go do this thing, and they just like get ready and they go. And like, it's no big deal, like taking a shower and brushing your teeth and getting your clothes and all of these things that you have to take care of are just like nothing to them, and that is so confusing to me because it is overwhelming and exhausting to me personally, and to think about them is already daunting enough. Number 7, she prepares herself mentally for outings, excursions, meetings, and appointments, often days before a scheduled event. Yes, sometimes I think, oh, I'll be fine, and then I totally like freak myself out because I didn't prepare myself and kind of visualize. Number 8, OCD tendencies when it comes to concepts of time, being on time, tracking time, recording time, and managing time could be carried over to money as well. Sadly, no. I've noticed that I'm actually starting to lose my grasp and sense of time. I don't know why. It just seems to be getting worse for me. I don't know. Number 9, questions next steps and movements continually. Somewhat. Number 10, sometimes it feels as if she's on stage being watched, and or a sense of always having to act out the right steps even when she is home alone. No, usually just in public for me. Number 11, telling self the right words and or positive self-talk. CBT doesn't typically alleviate anxiety. CBT may cause increased feelings of inadequacy. Yeah, actually, because people tell you like, oh, don't say that stuff to yourself, oh, say this and that, and then it's like, if I say that, I feel like I have to feel that right now, and then it makes me feel worse. So yeah, no, positive self-talk usually makes things worse for me. Number 12, knowing she is staying home all day brings great peace of mind. Yes, it does. Number 13, requires a large amount of downtime or alone time. Yes, and this is something that doesn't seem to... It's one of those things that makes people kind of upset, like family and friends, because they don't understand when we're all together and stuff why I need to go away. I need some downtime. Number 14, feels guilty after spending a lot of time on a special interest. Yes. Number 15, uncomfortable in public locker rooms, bathrooms, and or dressing rooms. Absolutely. I do not go in public locker rooms. I don't like the public bathrooms, but I go to them because I have to, and I've actually worked a lot on dealing with going to the bathroom in a public bathroom, and dressing rooms kind of freak me out too. Number 16, dislikes being in a crowded mall, crowded gym, and or crowded theater. Yeah, I've actually gotten super overwhelmed several times, especially in the theater. Section G, sensitive. Oh, that's the word that pretty much everyone used for me for a very long time. Number 1, sensitive to sounds, textures, temperature, and or smells when trying to sleep. Oh my goodness, yes. Or like when there's something being demanded of me, it's almost like all of these things heighten, and it's awful. Adjust bedclothes, bedding, and or environment in an attempt to find comfort. Again, I feel like everyone does that. Number 3, dreams are anxiety-ridden, vivid, complex, and or precognitive in nature. Yes. Yes. I don't typically like dreaming anymore. Especially recently, it just seemed to get worse. Number 4, highly intuitive to others' feelings. And I find it so interesting that this was on that list because, again, if you listen to me a little bit on my kind of journey to getting a diagnosis and everything, I thought, I couldn't be, on the spectrum or have Asperger's because everyone was like, you don't understand people's feelings or you don't feel those things. No, I am highly intuitive to other people's feelings. And that was another thing about, INFJ and everything. I was like, I feel them. Like, I feel your feelings. So I thought that was interesting that was on the list. Number 5, highly empathetic, sometimes to the point of confusion. Yes. Number 6, takes criticism to heart. Probably one of my greatest flaws. Number 7, longs to be seen, heard, and understood. Hello, that's why I made this channel. Number 8, questions if she is a normal person. Well, I found my answer. I'm technically not. Number 9, highly susceptible to outsiders' viewpoints and opinions. Yes, and that is why sometimes I just gotta ignore the comments on more popular videos. Number 10, at times adapts her view of life or actions based on others' opinions or words. Oh my goodness, yes. You have no idea how much other people's ideas of how I should be, how their thoughts on me, their opinions of me, their words really changed how I acted and how I lived my life, especially as a teenager. I hope that it's not that bad now, but that can be really, really bad. It can be really bad. And that, for a while, was really bad for me. Number 11, recognizes own limitations in many areas daily, if not hourly. More daily for me. Sometimes it was hourly if I was like really in a bad place, but just seeing that why am I hitting this wall when no one else seems to be? And even in this little thing, even in like, the getting ready thing. Yes. Number 12, becomes hurt when others question or doubt her work. Yeah, definitely. Number 13, views many things as an extension of self. Somewhat, yes. Number 14, fears others' opinions, criticism, and judgment. Working on that one. Number 15, dislikes words and events that hurt animals and people. Yes. Number 16, collects or rescues animals, often in childhood. Surprisingly, no. Interestingly enough, I am not a huge animal person. I don't know if it just I was over it when I was younger and I felt attachment and kept feeling disappointment. I don't know. But I have Nala, and that is as far as I'm going with animals. Number 17, huge compassion for suffering, sometimes for inanimate objects and personification. Yeah, kinda, yeah. I've cried over so many stupid things because I felt that it was suffering. But one of those things I think I've been getting over. Number 18, sensitive to substances, environmental toxins, foods, alcohol, medication, hormones, etc. I believe so somewhat. I don't really know about like alcohol, or I don't know how you test environmental toxins. But I am fairly sensitive to substances, I believe. Number 19, tries to help, offers unsolicited advice, or formalizes plans of action. Did that a lot more when I was younger. Now I'm just like, you do you, because you're obviously not going to listen to me, so. Number 20, questions life, purpose, and how to be a better person. Consistently, this was a thing that I would actually just go in circles and beat myself up about because I didn't understand why I wasn't better. Number 21, seeks to understand abilities, skills, and or gifts. Yes. Section H, sense of self. Number 1, feels trapped between wanting to be herself and wanting to fit in. Still a thing, really working on embracing who I am and just saying, enjoy your life, guys, because fitting in just doesn't seem to be that much worth it at this point. Number 2, imitates others without realizing. Yes, started realizing it though. Number 3, suppresses true wishes, often in young adulthood. Young adulthood here. And yes, that was really bad, especially about the time I was getting married, and after that, a lot of those things I really did suppress a lot. And really couldn't bring them up, especially for planning my wedding. It was like, oh, well, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I don't know. Because it was like I had tried to let go of any want or desire of anything because it would not happen or it wasn't going, I don't know. It's weird how I did that. It's just a thing. Exhibits codependent behaviors, often in young adulthood. Yeah, kinda. Number 5, adapts self in order to avoid ridicule. Yes, except for sometimes now I just say forget it. Number 6, rejects social norms and or questions social norms. Gotcha there. Number 7, feelings of extreme isolation. I think we've done this one already, but again, absolutely. Number 8, feeling good about self takes a lot of effort and work. Yeah, it really does. Number 9, it switches preferences based on environment and other people. Yeah, it's really bad sometimes. I gotta watch it because I'm like, at the same time I want to be like honest. I think my honesty ends at myself. So like, and I think it's also because I don't really know anymore. And so like, a lot of times I'll adjust for other people, and I believe that's kind of what they're saying. Switches behavior. Number 10, based on environment and other people. Very similar. Yes. Number 11, didn't care about her hygiene, clothes, and appearance before teenage years and or before someone else pointed these out to her. Yeah, I would actually go places with my dad in my pajamas and refuse to take a shower. It was great. Number 12, freaks out but doesn't know why until later. Number 13, young sounding voice. I don't think I do. Number 14, trouble recognizing what she looks like and or has occurrences of slight prosopagnosia, which is difficulty recognizing or remembering faces. And this one like blew my mind because this is something I definitely experienced, and I started looking into prosopagnosia. And I definitely do think that I have very slight prosopagnosia. And I'll even like be looking in the mirror and have trouble accepting that the reflection I'm seeing is me. And other people, like I'll have to kind of piece together parts of their faces and keep watching them as they do things and listen for their voice to really be assured that that's them. So I do have a little bit of trouble recognizing my own self and what other people look like. Number 15, it feels significantly younger on the inside than on the outside, perpetually 12. Okay, so for the longest time, I considered myself a very mature person. I thought that I was older than all these people, very mature. And as I've gotten older, I do feel like I'm perpetually 12. Like, it is ridiculous. So here I am 24 now, and yet on the inside, I really do sometimes feel like I'm just a 12-year-old, and everyone else seems to have, like, just general life things figured out, and I can't seem to grasp at it, and I'm cool with, you know, having candy and being hyper child. Like, and I've seen this with other people, and it's really interesting to watch it in other people, but there you go. You know, I said this video was hopefully not going to be that long, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 40 minutes or something. Section I, confusion. Number 1, had a hard time learning that others are not always honest. Still working on really believing that concept. Like, I get that that's a thing, but it's still hard for me to really believe it. Number 2, feelings seem confusing, illogical, and unpredictable. Selves and others, abso-stinkin-lutely. Number 3, confuses appointment times, numbers, and or dates. I think probably on average the same amount as everybody else. Number 4, expects that by acting a certain way, certain results can be achieved, but realizes in dealing with emotions, those results don't always manifest. I think so. Number 5, spoke frankly and literally in youth. I don't know. No one really tells me a whole lot about that. I feel like I did a little bit the more I start thinking about this stuff, and really when I have a memory and I'm like, oh, I kind of did. But I don't think it was like super obvious like some people are. Number 6, jokes go over the head. A lot of the times, yes. Number 7, confuse when others ostracize, shun, belittle, trick, and betray. Yes, and so a lot of the time what I've learned how to do is just assume that everyone is trying to do that because I can't tell when they are and when they aren't. Number 8, trouble identifying feelings unless they are extreme. Yup. Number 9, trouble with emotions of hate and dislike. Also yes. Number 10, I feel sorry for someone who has persecuted or hurt her. Yes and no. I used to a lot more, and now I'm starting to decide, like, it's okay for me not to feel sorry for them. Number 11, personal feelings of anger, outrage, deep love, fear, giddiness, and anticipation seem to be easier to identify than emotions of joy, satisfaction, calmness, and serenity. Yes, I think so. Number 12, difficulty recognizing how extreme emotions, outrage, deep love, will affect her, and challenges transferring what has been learned about emotions from one situation to the next. I think this is a little more complex than I have really reflected about my own personal emotions, so I probably can't give you an honest answer on that one. Number 13, situations and conversations sometimes perceived as black or white. Yes, I'm really bad at that, and I've been learning to understand that things are more complex. There isn't just a completely yes and a completely no to a lot of things. And that's something I think a lot of people honestly deal with, but it really bothers me when there's not like a yes and a no and a right and a wrong. And I'm learning about that, and I'm trying to share my learning with you guys, even like with the Lauren Daigle thing. You know, some things just aren't black or white, and we have to be able to see that there are complex things and there are slight shades of gray in here, and there's just a lot of complexity to situations and conversations and stuff like that. Number 14, the middle spectrum of outcomes, events, and emotions is sometimes overlooked or misunderstood. All or nothing mentality. I do have an all or nothing mentality, been working on it, was extremely criticized for it for the longest time when I was a teenager. Number 15, a small fight might signal the end of a relationship or the collapse of the world. Yes, I cannot handle them at all. It's so bad. Number 16, a small compliment might boost her into a state of bliss. Also true. Section J, words, numbers, and patterns. Number 1, likes to know word origins and or origin of historical facts, root cause, and foundation. Not really. Number 2, confused when there is more than one meaning or spelling to a word. Also not really. I was actually really good at this in English and stuff. I don't know why. Number 3, high interest in songs and song lyrics. I wouldn't say high. I'd say probably like mediocre amount. Number 4, notices patterns frequently. That I can agree with. Number 5, remembers things in visual pictures, usually. Number 6, remembers exact details about someone's life. Only if I was like super interested. That sounds really bad, but. Number 7, has a remarkable memory for certain details. You know, my dad can remember everything detail-wise. He can tell you the time, the day, and what happened like that. I'm not that great at that. Number 8, writes or creates to relieve anxiety. That is definitely me. Number 9, has certain feelings or emotions toward words and or numbers. I don't think so. Number 10, words and or numbers bring a sense of comfort and peace akin to a friendship. Again, I really don't relate to that one. This is an optional group, executive functioning and motor skills. This area isn't always as evident as other areas. So number 1 is simple tasks can cause extreme hardship. Yes. Especially when under like a lot of stress. There was one day I literally was like crying saying I couldn't cut a piece of paper, and I was not a child. Number 2, learning to drive a car or rounding the corner in a hallway can be troublesome. I literally thought it was going to be impossible for me to drive a car. Like, I'm not kidding you. While I was learning it, I was like, I don't even think this is possible at this point. And I run into things a lot with my shoulders. Number 3, new places offer their own set of challenges. Yes, and do not change things that I like and I'm familiar with. The layout of Aldi changed in my local area, and I was literally just, I couldn't. I started crying because I couldn't find what I wanted to find. Nothing was where I knew it should be. I just did not like it, and I don't like going to new places. Number 4, anything that requires a reasonable amount of steps, dexterity, or know-how can rouse a sense of panic. Yes. Number 5, the thought of repairing, fixing, or locating something can cause anxiety to a degree. Yes. Number 6, mundane tasks are avoided. Somewhat. And other times I feel more confident in things that like I know how to do, but it depends on the situation. Number 7, cleaning self and home may seem insurmountable. Number 8, many questions come to mind when setting about to do a task. Yes, and people hate me for it. Number 9, might leave the house with mismatched socks, shirt buttoned incorrectly, and or have dyslexia and or dysgraphia. Not that I'm aware of. I try not to do that. I'm not gonna say I look great when I leave the house. Number 10, a trip to the grocery store can be overwhelming. Yes, see Aldi again. Number 11, trouble copying dance steps, aerobic moves, or directions in a sports gym class. Are you kidding me? Okay, yes. I had a thing in 8th grade choir. We were doing this choreographed singing thing and it was a hot mess. So bad. I was so slow on the uptake for that. It was Number 12, has a hard time finding certain objects in the house but remembers with exact clarity where other objects are. Not being able to locate something or thinking about locating something can cause feelings of intense anxiety. Object permanence challenges, even with something as simple as opening an envelope. I don't think the second part really applies to me. I think the first part probably applies to like everybody. So this has been the Samantha Craft Unofficial Asperger's in Females checklist. That's probably not exactly how it's titled, but I hope that you enjoyed going over it with me and maybe you have identified with some of the things on the list. If you have, let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this one's been pretty long, but I enjoyed being able to just kind of sit down and talk with you guys and go over the checklist. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Again, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I hope you're having a wonderful day, week, or whatnot, and I will see you in my next video.